Okay, guys. I'm Lonnee Rey, and I was recently on this podcast, Soul Inspired. It's focused entirely on near-death experiences. I've had a number of very unusual events in my life, and I wanted to just set up the the little bit here because we tend to think that those would be, kind of heavier podcasts. And I'm here to make a point about being on faith-based and spiritual podcasts for a reason, which you'll see in a few minutes. So I just pulled a quick clip and the end with Joe so that if anybody was thinking that they might like to get exposure, he's a great guy and it's a great show to be on. So here we
I
go.
didn't know I'm gasping for air. My heart stopped.
What am I hearing? Oh, wasn't my go. Life. But how can I have more fun today than I ever thought possible? If you say that and let it go, it will work itself out. I promise you, at the end of the day, if, especially the ones that you think are just going to be awful or they start out, Murphy's Law kind of day, if you look back at that day, if you remember to, you'll be like, it was more fun than I ever thought possible.
Brings up conversation that's almost like haha sneaky, we're getting in there and we're getting
Uh-huh.
those little messages out there in this grand scheme of psychosis
Yeah,
of people walking around glued to their like they're not
I
really
know,
here,
right?
but if they're pressing play and they're listening to this and they're watching this and they're reading books like you put out and they're seeing things that are just filling their souls, not junking their minds, then I think that we're on the right track. But I do appreciate you being here. I always talk to the audience at the end of the show and say, please, please, please subscribe. Continue to share these episodes. This one's a real fun one. So if you want someone to listen and get an open mind and have a different perspective on things, I would encourage you to share it because this is why we do it, the Soul Inspired. So, but I've really loved having you on, Lonnee. I could see you being someone I have on again someday. So if we definitely like to stay in touch with you, but I really appreciate you being on today.
Wild horses couldn't keep me away, Joe. Let's do it again sometime. Thank you ever so much for the opportunity. So awesome. It's so nice to meet you. Whatever drew you to do this? I mean,
I have no idea how I'm here. If I'm being honest, I don't know. I think that's the best way to do it. I don't.
I don't
I was
know.
just doing a lot of music and coaching music, and the next thing you know, I'm doing a spiritual podcast. So it just kind of just happened, and
Yes, that makes sense.
now it's
Okay.
continuing to grow. So it's been a fun journey, and I love meeting all these different people, including yourself. It's just I feel like it feels like my soul family's coming online or something. So it's just a journey I'm taking right now. So
Oh, you give me goosebumps and it's
yeah.
hot in here. It's beautiful. So I wanted you guys to see that when we do podcasts, especially the ones that are in this arena, there's amazing connections and things that can happen for your business that you just don't see coming. You can't. Nobody has a crystal ball in their pocket anyway. So what I wanted to do today was to increase your chances of having a spark story that you might be excited to share later. And that means increasing your chances is by creating opportunities. And you do that through information. So we're going to do that today. So these are the things we're going to cover. Um, I let's see. How do I get rid of the pictures here? Okay. Um, I'm not going to read for you because I think you can read these. If I go too fast, you let me know. So I have another clip that I have to share with you guys. This woman is Gail.
922 subscribers, and I made $16,300.
I'm sorry.
And I want to say that my business had been slow before this. Like I was barely making any money. What I think people should do is be vulnerable, more vulnerable, and talk about the things that they might think work against them. So I went all in on talking about things that people normally think work against them. And I think that that really has a lot to do with it. Even the name of my Substack, The Old Black Lady Chronicles. People reach out to me now and they're like, well, I'm the old white man. It surprised me. Or I'm the old white lady. You know, they really people connect to the things that we don't normally talk about. So I think that if people leaned more into the things they're embarrassed about, that they think work against them, they would be really surprised at how much it would help them grow.
Oh, that's not real clear in full mode. Okay. Yeah, it's a great story. She's on Substack and just got her feet wet again back in coaching. And she had a phone call because her coach, the gal Arlen, who used to be homeless, now a multimillionaire, Harlan has a program for coaches. And one of the things that she says is just make $100 offer. In the past, Gail she was making 350,000 a year, not all in coaching, but a good bit. And things fell in her life. So anyway, she followed Arlen's advice and took a phone call, fully prepared to make $100 offer. And she listened to what the woman really needed. And she said, a 6-month program, that's 6,000. And she said, fine, let's do it. And so it's a very, very inspiring interview that I wanted to share a couple clips from, because you never know who's on the other end of the line next time. This is just a little bit about what I've been doing the last couple years. I've got Zen's been in, which one were you in? 6, Podcasters Edition. And Chris was in, The Advocates is not up here. Okay. I've done a lot of multi-author books, tons of interviewing, lots and lots of story development, being able to succinctify a message and get it out so that it makes sense, carrying the impact of a whole book. That's my goal every time. And there's certain themes in these, as you can see. I'm also, I've loved doing broadcasting since they didn't have the word podcast. It was called Internet Talk Radio. And I was co-host with a guy named Big Dick. He really was. He had the sense of humor of a 10-year-old. And it was 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, a lot of work because he was useless. He could do great armpit farts. I mean, he really was just such a child. Little did I know that they were queuing up it was the world's first uncensored adult talk radio station on the web, ksexradio.com. I'm about to roll into the promo. It just rolls off. And what they were doing was they were priming the name. They were building the name so that it could be sold. And it was sold overnight, as is so typical in radio. So the show was in and out. So they sold it to a bunch of adult entertainers who wanted to do their own shows on KSEX radio. Most recently, Deal with a Dumbass, How to Deal with a Dumbass, A Spiritual Perspective, is based on my book. And it's short form. So anybody out there that's considering promoting themselves through podcasting, I highly recommend it. Sharing this little 65 episodes is what I've done solo, has actually created friendships that I'll have for the rest of my life, just by sharing something that was funny, because there's a lot of laughter in this one. And it is based on the book. The book cover has just recently changed. It now looks like this, which really sums up the we're dealing with in the world. And it's really about protecting your peace. That's really what this book is about. It's a field guide to potholes and the people who dig them. So books really can be the vehicle for us to get ourselves out there in the world. It depends on what you do with it next. because otherwise it just sits on a shelf. Midlife My Ass, I'm just getting started, was my last big interview show, and it was slated to be a TV show when COVID hit. Lots of us lost our dreams, didn't we? This was Josh Carey is a very serious businessman with his podcast, but I included this in here. It was an honor to be his guest. Josh doesn't care what your profession is. He's going to ask every single person, is there life after death? And he doesn't mean to surprise anyone if people will do their homework, so to speak, and realize the guests or the hosts often have a question they ask every guest. And so it's really important to find that out. And these days you can use GPT to say, what question do they ask every guest? And that way you come in prepared, which is really important. You always want to be ready, right? So yeah, your career might be an accountant or a financial coach or health coach. Kind of doesn't matter. The genre podcasts can only have so many stories, and then they're looking for something different. And this is what I'm here to present to you today, is something different. Excuse me. I found this fascinating. I do love to follow trends. And in this one, to discover that since 2019, spiritual podcasts have grown 400%, and even more than comedy podcasts. If you can combine the two, if you can be somewhat entertaining and edutainer and find your angle, because who hasn't had a spiritual experience? It's whether people be willing to admit it or not. And I think it really opens doors to the kind of clients that might be like, oh, I get this guy. That I would rather have an advisor that was tapped into my form or my brand of thought philosophy or personal view or religious view or whatever it is that you got going on. If that's what you emit, what versus I say emit versus attract. Emit what you are, and then they can see and feel you. And this is a great environment to do it. It's a pretty shocking decline, really. I'd say it's a decline for business podcasts. But anyway, there you go. There's every reason in the world to be on spiritual and faith-based shows. And not knowing whether we would have 4 or 40 people, I prepared a lot to cover all kinds of genres, so that everyone would understand like where they fit in and can they fit in this way of self-promotion and self-expression, because it really is self-expression. And I believe with all my heart that our world needs people that are inclined to express that I had a miracle happen, or I really believe in the impossible. I would like that in a coach, somebody who has unlimited thinking mindset. So these are the different arenas that were separated out. So it covers everybody, because your audience. I mean, it's like, where's your audience hanging out? How do you know somebody needs tax advice? How do I know somebody wants to write a book? They're not walking around asking, who do they're just, it's not obvious. So being able to get in front of a different kind of audience. In fact, right after I did Soul Inspired, somebody went onto my website to contact me and said, I really want to talk to you. Everyone seems to think I'm crazy, but I don't think you will. And it was because of being so honest on the show. And that's what we want. That's what we want. So I know it's helpful to do that. These are a couple more of the businesses and why you want to be in front of this kind of audience, especially with the growth that these podcasts have had. This isn't all about podcasts, mind you, but what I know is that everything is marketing, and marketing's everything. And so it really matters that we keep putting ourselves out there, but I think it needs to be strategic versus throwing pasta on the wall. So that's why spiritual and faith-based is kind of the focus today. But even when you're speaking with someone, and I'll go over that later when we're doing some networking, some of the things that you can say that can become a different story, a spark story is what I call it. So I made up a podcast name, Ahas and Other Accidents, imagining that we were going to break into 4 rooms. Since we're not, I'll have to make some adjustments here on the fly on how this is going to go from here on out. But typically, what happens, and this is the moment where you make or break the listeners, who are you and how do you show up in the world? And I swear, if another person says, well, my name's Louise and I'm from St. Louis and I have 4 kids. And I'm like, nope, wrong answer, Louise. No, you gotta come up with something. You gotta come up with something a lot better than that. So if somebody were to ask me that, let's say I was on this ahas and other accidents. Who am I and how do I show up in the world? I'm really passionate about adding sugar to where there were lemons, and I grew up in a house that didn't have any sugar. So I learned a lot of things. In fact, I called my book Life Lessons Learned from a Lousy Mother, and I'm not a mom, but I was a kid, and we can all of us were kids once, and I could easily move into parenting shows, but I chose to publish this. It's 5 days. I wrote it in 5 days because it had been on my heart for decades, all these things, and it just fell out of my mouth, right? I wanted it in time for Mother's Day so that the other people who didn't have June Cleaver for a mother wouldn't feel so weird and obligated or guilty or shamed or whatever Mother's Day does to them, because I know what it does. And my goal was always to return with a lantern and a laugh and show people the path. That's the lantern you see behind me. And that's what this book does. The compliments on it are relatable, and that's really what you want. Is you want to. It doesn't stay in the pain. It gets you to and through, and off you go. It's a mini memoir, and I'm very passionate about how that's helped people. It's been very surprising. You don't need a big book to make a big impact. These are great one-liners to open up a show, or if you're at a networking event, and instead of like when I go to networking events, I would walk up, kind of sidle up to somebody and go, aside from the free food, why are you here? And they would just look like, what? I'm like, there you go. There's the laugh. Okay. Or if I was new in town, which often happened, I'd be like asking sincerely, where can I find XYZ? Where can I find? I'm new here. And so that allows people to drop their persona, their networking persona. But when people ask, how'd you get started in what you're doing? If you open up with a line like it all started with a terrible idea, they're going to be leaning in. They're going to listen. They're going to remember you. So, or I know this sounds weird, and that's a great way to open a show. Nobody believed me. I know this sounds hard to believe, and you finish that, you've got the listener's attention, whether they're standing in front of you or listening from from podcast headphones. There's other ways to I call them pitch sparks. So instead of a title, name the outcome. This is true. I was a podcast guest trainer and basically a confidence coach. And Ron, just it wasn't likely Ron was going to get remarried for a lot of reasons. And he took my course and he became a new man. And he did get married, and much to everyone's surprise. And Heather came out of her shell. Heather wouldn't look at a camera. And by the time we got done, she was like, "Do you need another one? I'll do another testimonial. I'm happy to do it." And so she got all of her confidence back. She got light that she never had before. It's so rewarding to see that. And so you can use these as ways to open up and talk about what you do without it sounding like you're talking about what you do. Kinda. Okay? All right. So this was the opportunity of a lifetime. We won't have it today, but it's okay. We'll have it when there's 40 people maybe. I wanted to share these. There's four types. I'm going to ask you which one you feel closest to, and I can come back to it if you need to see the descriptions. Excuse me. So which one would you relate to the most? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Okay. So Ken, which one would you relate to?
Oh, can you put that second one up there? I was reading the first one. Pop back up. Go-getter, right? It's the enforcer. You've been handling things in elementary school, maybe earlier. People turn to you, and then go back to the 3 and 4 again. I think I'm gonna be more like three and 4. Let's see. Spark, being twisted awareness. I guess sometimes it's situational, but
Yes,
if I had to
today,
pick
as of
one,
today, absolutely is situational. Good point.
I'll have
Yeah.
to pick one. You notice the others missing mine. Can they avoid it? I'd probably be 1 and maybe 4. I'm sensing.
Well, if you were having to pick one,
Let's go with 1.
okay, you would go with one. Okay. How about you, EG?
I'm definitely one. And I
Definitely
have many
one.
scars to prove it.
The go-getter part, number one.
Yeah, it says that if you have your calendar passport or ER wristband to prove it, yeah. I see
Ooh.
a wall on a mountain, I'll climb it without ropes.
Okay,
I'm
you're
up
that
with the
guy.
mountain with my mountain bike, I'll go straight down, not on the path, but just straight down the mountain between trees.
You're gonna be. That's very much you. Okay. Yeah. How about you, Zen? Can't hear you, babe.
Unmute.
That's rare.
I know,
Um,
right? Zen's quiet.
well, I started to say I'm a fan of De Bono's Six Hats, and yet I find myself leaning towards one.
Towards one. Okay. How about you, Sarita?
Definitely the number 4.
Number 4, the strategist. Okay. Chris, do you want to tell us which one you feel like the most? And you too, Janice.
I think number one for me, Miss Lonnee, number one.
Okay. How about you, Janice?
I'm the strategist. I put that in the comments and
Oh,
I'm
honey,
making dinner. I'm
I
making
can't see.
dinner, so I'm multitasking as we speak.
It's all good. Thanks for playing along. I appreciate you. I can't see the comments. I've got this gigantic screen. But so you're the strategist. So we didn't have any 3s. Interesting. Or 2s. Okay.
Well,
So
the three was my first, and then you went back to one. It's like, okay, where the hell am I here? Because I'm everything.
I know.
I find it situational. I
And you
know.
know me.
I know. I knew. I was thinking of you when I wrote this one. 3. But yes. So for right now. Okay. So what we would have done is I would have put all the people that were 1s in the same Zoom room. And then the 4s also together and so on. So that you would find like-mindedness will help to bring out that unique side of yourself. And so it was going to be an exercise, which is, who are you and how do you show up in the world in a way that is relevant to your personality type. One of the best ways that I find to be relatable, because we've all been kids at one point, is to say, I used to be the kid in school that people teased, or I used to be the kid who, ran the playground like a mafia boss, or whatever. And then or I used to be the kid that made clothes for my Barbie dolls, and I grew up to be a fashion designer. Those kind of little parlays of who you are and what you used to do are really helpful for a person to instantly recognize, relate, and add to your conversation.
Is it sorry, Lonnie, is it that looked like a lot of fun?
It
Would it have been a
is.
breakout room for maybe each of us just to rattle off that and fill in the blanks? Would that be outside of
Yeah,
the
I'd love to do that. Sure. I
we
didn't.
each yeah. I don't want to
Yeah.
interrupt your
We don't,
flow. I was
and
just
we
hoping we
might
would get
not need a
to do
breakout room
it.
because it's only a couple of us. We can just share here.
Sure. Yeah. I can't get back to the thing, but I don't. Oh, there it is. Okay. So we have strategist. Okay. So when it comes to who are you? So which one of you is a strategist? Sarita?
It was me and Janice.
You and Janice. Okay.
Hmm.
So when it comes to you guys answering this, what you want to reveal without saying I'm analytical is something that shows that you are. So who are you and how do you show up in the world? Come up with a story that shows that is not what you're currently doing for business. That is not something you would normally tell people. In fact, that's why I showed you the clip about Gail, because she's talking about being the old black lady. She's not talking about being a coach, and she's doing a fantastic business now because she's just being that lady that she is, right? So, of course, it would depend on the kind of show you're on, where you would craft your angle, what kind of angle you would have. We're going to pretend that it's ahas and other accidents. So it's kind of like it leaves a little bit open. It could be a spiritual response. It could be, let me see if I have the tagline. Yeah. Where light conversation meets soulful side doors. So you can come up with kind of anything you want for a show like this. What would a strategist want to say? Something that shows that you're really good with details. Maybe, so Sarita, tell us who you are in this world. How are you? You could say, I'm exhausted, Lonnee. I just finished building out an IKEA dresser. I don't know if that's your hobby, but I doubt it. But you see, somebody who's got maybe I don't understand your personality well enough to be like, I won't do that. But I will map out like my city on a napkin because I'm like, I don't know what your personality is. But we're looking for something. And I can't see you, so I don't know where I'm hitting here. I can't tell. But you maybe have some suggestions so we can work with
Oh,
it?
so it's funny. I am a strategist, but probably if I would, and I do like to have fun, by the way. I'm a jokester sometimes. I
Good.
guess I don't know. You kind of put me on the spot here. Let me see.
What's
I
something
get
that you don't usually tell people?
um normally what I don't really tell people is I don't like playing by the rules.
Oh,
I'm a disruptor.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't. That's one of the reasons I left corporate America. I got tired of, as that's old saying, I got tired of dancing when the music wasn't playing, and it's just I'm kind of a no nonsense kind of disruptor type person. You
Okay.
know, yeah.
So how do you show up in the world then with this no nonsense disruptor personality? Kicking ass and
Um,
taking names? You could swear on my
actually,
show. It's okay.
I actually do. You know what's really funny? It may sound really weird, but I
Go
actually
ahead.
do it through soft skills because I am a people watcher. And I've all my years of corporate America, I've watched people, leaders, how they operate. I've, listened to people, how they talk and what pisses them off, and the leaders don't care, and how they handle things. I'm like, that could have been handled better. So I'm a people watcher and take things in, and then I'll take it and strategize and come up with a solution.
I like that. That's
Yeah.
that's yeah. That it hits all the marks. You're an
Hmm.
observer.
Yeah.
Sarita, you sound just like me. I'm a Leo and I do the same thing. I watch a lot of people.
Yeah, I do. I'm a people watcher, and it's so funny that you said that, Lonnie. I just posted something today on my social media on Facebook. People probably were like, "Is that Sarita?" I'm coming out more and more because I somebody posted something about it was something spirituality because I am a spiritual person. You might not know this, but my background, I've taught the classes. I'm licensed, ordained. All of that. I've been had leadership roles in church. And one
Wow.
thing irritates me the most is people over spiritualizing stuff that's just, I'm like, somebody said something about cinnamon. It's dealing with witchcraft or something. I'm like, what TV shows? Y'all need to stay off TV. Really? That's the most
It's not a
stupidest
Black
thing.
Mirror episode.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, cinnamon, you can use, people use witchcraft practices, cinnamons, herbs. I said, but herbs are from the earth. God made them for healing purposes.
Right.
And I need y'all to stay off TV, really, because I have a low tolerance for ignorance, like spiritual ignorance like that.
Yeah,
So,
it is, isn't it?
yeah. So, anyway, you didn't ask for that, but it's just kind of my personality coming out. I just have
Well, see, that's what you want. Is you want
yeah,
because that becomes relatable.
yeah.
I remember a time when well, there was a long time, there were decades when I was really depressed. But I could tell you of an era where I say I was pissed off for 5 years, and I was really just like getting in touch with all those feelings finally, and I was mad, and I had a lot to be mad about. And I tell you, I never made people laugh more. They said you should be a comedian, and I'm like, none of this is funny. And they're like, you should see your face. I'm like, come on, man. I'm upset. Can't you at least have some empathy? They're like, you should be on stage right now.
Yeah.
Because it was unexpected. It was real. It was raw. All the things that you just were.
Yeah.
And yeah, very relatable.
Yeah, I just
That's
tell her.
oh sorry. That's pretty sweet. This exercise is pretty cool. I want to jump in quick only because I think we have like another 27 minutes and maybe like a few minutes per person. I don't want to kill the vibe at all. It's really awesome. And if just to pay attention to that so that we can
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
don't know if we're gonna wrap up some, but if we can, maybe I can go next because I think
Yeah,
that might be an easy
absolutely.
one.
Do it.
Yeah, so can you pull up the
I'm,
question?
I'm, I'm
I was the blind kid in high school. That one looked
I
the
wish
blind
I
kid in
could.
school. That one looked like a lot of fun because I had a quick answer to that one.
I'm trying so hard to change the slides.
Try the try the tab. So with the tab, I think you can go forward, or even with the arrow keys, you should be able to go back and front.
Oh,
And Lonnie, this is awesome, by the way. This is so great.
thank you.
I wish I had like a printout of this so I can go back and maybe use some of them.
Lucky
But
for you,
Yeah,
it's recorded.
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
yeah. I was thinking I would print it. So is this what you were talking about?
Yeah, if you guys don't mind, let me do this little extra, the one at the bottom there, because that looked like
Yeah, do it. Do
so
it.
I definitely have said that before because I've definitely remember. So I used to be the quiet kid in school who got good grades and did well in sports. And ironically, I guess, I'm on social media and like I don't know, I guess I'm organizing stuff here and I guess that's the ironic part. I guess people think that I'm quite outgoing and social with people, but I was really a quiet introverted kid. So yeah.
Do you still feel like an introvert?
I guess my natural thing is just to go nerd off on my own and be stuck in my head and do stuff. And I think I'm really good with people, and I should really be spending more time with my audience and my list and stuff. Usually, it's just a one-way thing, and my brain stuff going out. When and whenever I do engage in like a group setting, I do get a lot more things happen, and it is kind of fun. I guess I don't naturally just do it. So a little bit of why I'm doing a bit more now. EG threw it at me with the group. I'm like, yeah, let's get in there and do it. So I'm a little bit more trying to bring that element in.
Good. Good. Because I think it's a combination of both. If you've done the personality tests, INTJ and ENTJ right here,
Yeah,
it depends on the day. Introvert, extrovert. But
situation a bit
I've
too.
always been an ENTJ.
no way.
Coaches, a lot of coaches. Yeah.
So, um,
Did I do it
thank you.
right?
So if you wanted to answer the question, and welcome to Ahas and Accidents, Ken. Um, uh, who are you and how do you show up in the world these days?
So this is the part I kind of got to mix into this part. So my
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah.
okay. So then I guess that's the part that I'm wondering I didn't mix into. So who am I? And who do I show up in this world today? So I guess I'm a bit of a tech, kind of tech nerd. I love to get in, math geek kind of person, and that turns into helping a lot of my clients with their websites, the tech and getting it set and all that stuff built. But it also turned into the big part of the missing element is, just trying to what you write and how you talk about what you do and making it strategic so you can actually, get clients and get people on your list and grow it. So that's kind of how I, yeah.
Did you ever think you'd be doing what you're doing?
No, I left the corporate world and it was yeah, boring and I needed a challenge. So that's another part of the, I guess, story, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Thanks for playing along. EG,
yeah.
would you like to go, or can I move on and
Yeah, I'm good to go. I mean, if that's a good example of what you want to put, what you want to kind of, you're bringing some pieces together, and that was a little in break thing.
so yeah, what you want to do is like you were what, the
Quiet,
strategist? No.
quiet kid. First one, go getter, I guess. I
Okay,
would
so
say challenge
let's
myself.
actually move into that. I think this is going to help define it a
Okay.
little bit. So, I use the title go-getter, but it's actually the adrenaline junkie. That's why when you were talking like you were, EG, I was like, oh yeah, you're freaking perfect. You know, the guy who parachutes without the parachute, that guy. Yeah, let's go for it and survive, live to tell about it. Still fog in a mirror. Love it. Um, that energy is what you absolutely want to be, come on with, and know that that's what, when you emit that, that's what, some people will run away screaming if you like that, and some people will just be like, I absolutely love you. What's your name? You know,
Yeah.
so, you know, yeah. So let's see what the other words are. So the adrenaline junkie. So the second one that nobody picked, the mafia don. Uh, I had to eliminate a lot of the descriptions because it was like, loyalty, blood, the family, the family. It was really about being very protective. But it's also about someone who is uncompromising and calculating in very good ways to be very protective of family and assets. It's a very good trait to have. Actually, it doesn't have to be actual literal Sopranos mafia style. Um, and then I wanted to, as you can see, good podcast fits for these personality types. Let's see the next one. Manic Pixie Dream Girl. So, Zen, I thought about you with that. um, and some people that I've known who are very flexible, very soft in their energy, very flowing with the world and the wind. Um, they can appear flaky, but that doesn't mean that they are. It's just they're not as obviously rigid or regimented. It doesn't mean they don't get things done. In fact, our world needs them. They're the creatives. They're the artists. They're the expressionistas, I think is the word.
I'm not proud to say it, but I'm a mix of one and three, and not the girl part.
It doesn't have to be a girl part. I think that's awesome. It is.
Actually, the girl part too, because lots of people call me very feminine, and I say yes, I'm very much in touch with my feminine side, but my feminine side is a lesbian.
That's awesome. Right on. I think you should share that on the air. That'll get some people listening. The balance of the two is really ideal. I love to hear that. And let's see, our last one is the strategist is actually the nerd in the group. And that's not a bad thing. Our world needs nerds too.
Very much.
Very much. Yes. So these are personalities, and yeah, Ken, I'll make a printout of this because I know that there's exercises in here that you guys might like to do, just to give it a try on your own um, later on. Okay, so wait, I want to. Okay, we've all been to the wedding where we're done, the band strikes up, and everyone's kind of looking around like, will somebody open the freaking dance floor? I wish somebody would. So just out of curiosity here, by a show, a hand, I don't know, an icon, would you be the one who opens the dance floor? I am.
Half the time, half the
Yeah.
time. Yes.
How about you, Sarita? Yeah, Chris, right on. Zen.
Probably not.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Janice, are you still with us?
Janice
No.
had to leave.
Okay. Well, the world's waiting for somebody to open the dance floor. Um, but often it takes alcohol and right, and time, And I just feel like we should open the dance floor. That's what happened when I was on this podcast recently with Joe, the Soul Inspired podcast. It was all the things that we covered, open the dance floor for other people to come forward. And that's what we want.
But the big thing for me is that you help so many other people. Like, you can't even imagine how many people you empower and help by telling your story and being open. And it just blows my mind. And so many years before, when I was in corporate, I'd be embarrassed about all of these things and want to hide. And a lot of women lie about their age and all kind of stuff. And
Yeah,
it's
they do.
it's been it's been such a blessing for me. I'm just glad that I really trusted myself to make.
Oh, why did it stop? To 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 make the changes is how that ends. I don't know why I did that. So I really am encouraging each and every one of us. We're all so different and unique and meant to be. Not everybody wants to be the first one, but when you are and you push that domino, you really do have a domino effect. And so go first. Steer the ship refers to a podcast guest sheet, which I don't really have time to go over with you guys today, but I will another time. Um, and in that, um, you steer the ship instantly by creating a bio that is actually something they can read out loud to introduce you, and sample questions so that you are already showing them how this is going to go and what their options are within those sample questions. Okay. And that's how you can spark the story that you want to tell. Because not everybody, just because they have a show doesn't mean they're good at interviewing at all. Or just because they're whatever, fill in the blank. Make no assumptions. You want to be productive, you got to steer the ship. So go first, steer the ship. And when you do that with humor and honesty and your humanity shows, it's endearing. People love you for doing that. And then this brings us to the close. If you want to keep working on your Spark story, I have a group. So you could just jump over to Podcast Guest Success Strategies book group, or we could talk about it. I have a writers group. There's things I can do, but I wanted to invite all of you to the Podcast Guest group. It's because I'm really passionate about helping you to stand out with your brand out. Okay, and if there's anything I can do to help you out. You can find me at Book Lonnee, and I'm launching a Sleep Stories channel. That's my icon, and it's meant to inform, inspire, and help you relax as you go off to sleep or spend your time with some positive stories of historical figures. Okay, and that's it, guys.
Woo! Good stuff. Just bowled us over nicely. It's great. EG and I knew immediately we'd have to get you in a discussion to help people out right away. We were like, "Well, we gotta get her in there."
Oh, thank you.
So good.
So,
Thank
Lonnee,
you.
help me with my story, how I show up in the world. You
Okay.
open to coaching me for 3 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah. What
I
show?
was thinking for an answer, and the first answer was that I show up boring. I'm trying to be appropriate and let others shine, because all my life I was a little erratic and like a bulldozer, just make my voice heard. People always accused me trying to be the center of attention, and I said, I'm not trying, I just am. Like, really, I never try. It just turns out that way. Actually, at every party, I'm a little quiet, and then, yeah, if nobody stands up, years ago, I needed a little alcohol and then I would dance, but now I don't need alcohol. I just will stand up and dance either by myself or with somebody. But I always viewed public speaking, writing a book, many other things. I saw them as something out there, It's like an eagle flying. Like I always wanted to fly like an eagle, but I knew I will never be able to fly like an eagle. I mean, it's so cool to be up there and look down on the world and just be free up there. And I thought public speaking was similar, but I knew I never do it. And now I am doing it. I'm living it.
Wow.
And I'm a connector in the community. I speak at many events and I speak nationwide and all that. But I cannot put it in nice words like what you were saying there, like I'm trying to be politically correct lots of times, and I struggle between authenticity and politically correct. My authentic self burns hot. It will scorch many people, so I have to tone it down. Um, so anyway,
I'm going to share thank you for sharing that with me. There's also a document that I have for you guys, PDF of all the different types of humor. I probably have 40 different types of humor on there. And being able to figure out where your funny bone is almost the first thing to do. That what lights you up will give you the fuel to say the thing you want to say. And that way you're not really as concerned about the content as it is the vibe. And I sense the weight, and what you want is wings. Yeah. And I'm a word nerd, so it would just take a little bit of digging around to go, okay, let's find some words that would really work for you, because your concern is valid. You want to be politically correct, or you don't want to step on toes. But people got some big feet these days. And it's like, I can't. I just got to be myself, right? So you may end up finding that, in different scenarios, for podcasts, it can absolutely be planned. It can be planned. I can help you literally script what you would want to say that would come out in a way that you want. In live meetings, you'd almost want to have an artillery, if you will, of one-liners, or even something akin to, dare I say, a dad joke, something because you have a strong energy, and people would be shy. They would probably be like, and if you come out and you're just like, I'm goofy, I ride a bike like, a crazy madman, and if you saw that side of me, you'd be like, let's go play, instead of, wondering, is this man gonna like elbow me, because he can reach. So it's a matter of perception management with you. So what it would take then, honestly, is, what's the show? Let's pick a show. Let's play. Let's pick a show that you'd want to be on.
leadership.
Leadership show.
The audience is human resources managers and other leaders.
You're going to have to open with a joke, because if you don't, or something like that. I know they tell speakers don't open with a joke because you could really fall flat. I get it. But what I found is there is this persona, and the persona's got to go, and you can lead the way with that. Just be completely charming and disarming all at once. And this is what comedians do when they roll into a town, is they find the local haunt, the local hangout, the local hiccup. They find the problem, and then they bring it to the stage, because then, and granted, you might be doing a huge event with 4,000 people who have come from everywhere. So then you have a unique challenge, certainly. But to be able to find an opener that has nothing to do with what you're going to talk about, that has, maybe it is a faux pas, maybe it is, I ran out of instant stain remover, man. So sorry about that. I don't have another shirt. We're gonna have to deal with it. Like, being that real and that raw in the moment is going to be very disarming and very charming to the people that are probably also worried about their hair, their tie, and their skirt.
in one of my first, well, no, in my first keynote at an HR event, I did a very inappropriate joke. I opened with a story, with a short story about my grandfather, grandmother getting married, going home with the horse carriage, and the one of the horses neighs, and my grandfather says one, and the horse neighs again. My grandfather says two, and the horse neighs again, and he says three, and then he says that's it. He jumps off the carriage and he hits the horse in the head with the axe, and the horse dies. And my grandmother yells up, the new bride, right? Yells up, Stephen, what the heck? And then he says one.
Oh no.
And they
No
had the
wonder they didn't
happiest,
like it.
and they had the happiest marriage ever. And my grandmother was a very meek, um, quiet lady and all that. But and people were laughing and burying their heads, and
Oh,
um, and I said, well, that's what in HR is also important, to notice things and let people know, but not just when they do
good
things
segue.
wrong, but also catch them doing things right. So,
Yes.
so interestingly enough, a couple of organizations invited me to present at their event as well. And this young lady walked up to me and she says, "Hi, I'm Sarah from Bluffton today." And I'm like, I was so confused. And I'm like, "So where will you be from tomorrow?" And she's laughing and she's like, "No, Bluffton today is a newspaper." I'm like, "Oh, I
Oh,
apologize. I'm not." But she wrote an article. The front page was about me and my speech, and the middle section also. So
nice.
when I do go a little crazy in my speeches, but that was the
Good.
craziest. I was fairly new in the country and I did not know much about political correctness, but people loved it. People loved it. But now I don't have the guts anymore. I've got brainwashed, so I keep it safer. But I still will go brave and poke at people's edge limits.
Good. Good. We need that. We need people
And
like
at
that.
networking events, I'm the guy who goes up to people who seem lost and they're alone, and I will start a conversation with them. And but I will use your line about like when I will approach them, like, so besides free food, what else brings you here?
That would work
I
so
like
well.
that. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
think we
Yeah.
were, yeah. Sorry, I think we were gonna go for 90 minutes. I don't know if I remember writing that in there, but last time that seemed to be the cutoff point. I'm happy to keep going a bit if
I will have to leave. I was supposed to call somebody at 5:20. I forgot, but he's okay. He said that call him after 5:20. So
5 more minutes. Everybody good with that? Maybe a few more minutes. I know we didn't get everyone to work on their story or what have you. I hope I don't. I guess Zen or Chris, if you're itching to get I mean, Chris actually worked with Lonnie. Um, what should we do? Lonnie, are we all good or how are we doing with all this stuff? Look, it's my second one that I'm trying to. EG really facilitates, but I guess I spoke up a little more this time. How are we doing, everyone? Yeah.
Doing good. Sitting here thinking about what the opening was like, I was a kid that had radical curiosity throughout school and ended up in a psych ward because of it.
There's,
That's a hell of an opener. Holy crap.
there's something. Wow, there's a story.
That's a hell of a story. That'd be memorable.
You know some of my stories,
Yeah,
so
I didn't remember that.
That's
Oh,
a story. That can go all kinds of great ways, I think.
wow. The weirder the better. Bring it on, Zen. I'm sorry that happened to you.
I wear my beard well. I
I
appreciate
know
it.
how you feel. Everything's fine. You got it. It's, it's okay. It's part of life.
Well, yeah, you got to dissolve into here, right? Here can't hold what was there.
That's true. You know, that would be such a great
Nice.
story to open with and then parlay right into that. Because you're I've told you this before. You skirt in and out with neutrality no matter what kind of waves are going on. You just have this, you know, very much your name. Very much your name.
I've
Beautiful
earned
name.
it.
Yes. Yes. You have.
Not only was I given it, then I had to earn it.
Yeah. Well, you do every day.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. That's a hell of a story to open with. And it definitely you could jump off on that with so many different places. Who are you and how do you show up in the world today?
Yeah.
That's, a gift when you open your mouth and talk like that. It shows people it's possible.
Well, I think you kind of experienced that on the podcast that we did.
Yeah.
And
It's
you
just
just had a
awesome.
wonderful time just kind of opening up and feeling safe.
Yeah. 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 Well, that's what it does when we're willing to be the ones to do first.
Well, yeah, if I don't do it, how can I expect anybody else to?
Yeah. True story.
Okay, well, I think I do need to pop off as well.
I want to leave you guys with one fun fact that will always make you the hit of a party or at least a conversation in the bank line. Okay.
That's here.
Fun fact, real quick. You've heard of the term rat's nest hair. Everybody's heard rat's nest hair, right? Okay. It comes from back in the 1800s when they did the poof with their hair. They didn't backcomb it. They put it over on pillows and wire frames, and they had to use like a lard for a pomade, and they powdered it. That's why they were all white, because the powder made it sticky, and they could wrap it around and they could stick those clipper ships and all kinds of charms in them and stuff. But the common folk couldn't get those changed every day like Marie Antoinette did. So a couple weeks into it, they had bugs and smells and rodents, and that's where rat's nest hair came from, because that's what was happening. So there's your fun fact joke to tell somebody somewhere.
Joke of the day.
Yeah. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to
Yeah, good
share
stuff.
these ideas.
Thanks for helping us with our stories.
Yeah.
and stuff.
Thank
Yeah.
you guys too. It prompted some ideas and things, and
Good. Thank you for coming.
you're welcome.
Good to meet you all, Zen and Chris. I think EG, I don't know, he stepped away for the moment, but I will hop off. Lonnie,
Okay.
thanks so much.
Be
And
well, everyone. Love to all.
Nice talking to you, Sarita. Take care,
Same,
hon.
same
Bye,
as
Ken.
well. This is great. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
all right, bye,
Thanks,
Sarita.
Lonnie, for having. Thanks.
Bye,
y'all.
Chris.
Bye, babe.
I'll
Thanks.
hook you up with EG. Okay.
Okay, thanks, Miss
Yeah.
Lonnie.
Good
Okay.
stuff.
You're welcome, honey.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Nice to
Catch
meet
you all
all
later.
y'all.
Bye, Ken.
Okay, bye.